Today I'm gonna add this variable. I'm gonna change this with this. Both banks actually, not only one, obviously. I'm gonna explain later on, not now. Now, some people they're gonna wonder, you remove the OEM fuel rail and you put again OEM fuel rail. What's the reason, right? What's the principle behind of this thing, what you did, Tassos? Right, Mr. John, Mr. Derek, I don't remember your name, Mike. I'm gonna call you Mike.
Emmanuel. No.
Emmanuel, okay. Who I'm calling Mike? I'm calling one other guy Mike. Anyhow, yeah, don't misunderstand me, I'm gonna buy shoes for you. So, what's the thing now? I forget that the customer he already replaced both high pressure pumps. They are new. I forget that, I think I have it on the first video. I checked it today and it's new. Also the customer here remind me again that, you know what, Tassos, wake up, the high pressure pumps are new. Okay. Now we have a fuel starvation. I saw it yesterday on Diagnostic. The car is tuned, obviously. Otherwise we're gonna be enough the fuel. For the ignition timing and the boost that they set up on the ECU, there is a fuel starvation. We're gonna see the difference when we're gonna make a test drive with this setup. Now, I'm not gonna touch the low pressure pump because since the high pressure pumps are new and it's using the controller 10 volts on the low pressure pump and it can still keep up, that means it's okay, the filter and the pump. It does have a burnt terminals. I think I have already checked that before, I don't remember. Okay, but at the end of the day, there are two new high pressure pumps front and there is no fuel starvation from the low pressure pump. It still has more than 5 bar of fuel pressure. Now with this what I did, I don't know if you're gonna still have 5 bar, we're gonna figure it out. What I did, it's gonna make sense at the end. I don't know if you're gonna solve the problem because it's dropping down to 70 bar. When it's supposed to have 200 bar, it goes down to 70 bar. That means it's missing enough fuel, if you want. Now, how you can solve that? It's simple. I can add two methanol jets, 600cc each one, 1.2 liters per minute, and I can solve it. Now, if I cannot solve it with this, what I did at the fuel rails, and it still has a fuel starvation, we're gonna see actually on Diagnostic how it's gonna be the difference yesterday and today. Then there is only one way. You have to detune the car. Either you have to cut, let us say, the little bit of boost, a little bit of ignition timing. Actually, it's a good thing to cut a little bit boost on the middle range RPMs because there it's suffering. I have mentioned that before. We're gonna see today. I'm gonna go again for a test drive. I'm gonna go graduate. I'm not gonna be pedal to the metal, slowly to see when I'm not gonna be enough the fuel. If it's enough and it's clean, I doubt because it's not like. It's supposed to have, like I said, 200 bar, alright? It didn't drop down to 130 bar, 140 bar, to say that it's a little bit. Will it gonna help this, what I did? It will gonna help. How much? Do not ask me. We're gonna figure it out. Yeah, that's the plan for today. I'm waiting now for the guys to close everything back, starting it, warming it up, and hit the road. By the way, let me put on the same video. I have mentioned that before, that has a leak down there. Okay, we top up the coolant and still it's fine. It's full. Alright, that's a good one. That's a good one. Just saying. And at the same time, let's put this on the video. The car that I changed the half transmission for the transfer case that was exploded. It came back. Why? Because it's leaking from the heater core pipe here. There is a leak from a heater core pipe. This is classic, unfortunately. So we need the O-ring for the vacuum pump, and we need the plastic piece that goes on the cylinder head and the pipe that goes to the heater core there, plus an engine oil dipstick. Yeah. Fortunately, it does have any leak from the transmission, it doesn't make any sound, it's beautiful. Okay, time for a test drive. Need to warm up a little bit the engine oil. What do we have here? We have 100 bar, 27, 28 degrees, 26. It doesn't look bad. You can tell me also yesterday it was not looking bad. That's what's happening under load. Or, like I said, warming it up. How many kilometers? Yesterday I make mistake. I said that I didn't make even 1 kilometer, and I ended up that I make 8 kilometers. It was 30, and then it ended up to be 38.8, I think, something like that. It was 30.8 and 38.8. Yeah. Anyhow, now today 9.9, 9.1. Sorry, 9.1, and down the total it's 739. Yep. Let's go to see. Much better than before. Let's see. 47.6, 47. I don't remember how much it was before. You can calculate it. Was from the video. Much better than before. Not check engine, but again I put a bed that has a fuel starvation. Not that much like before, but it's not correct. Definitely has a tune in the car. Let me get a diagnostic. Let's go inside the engine room to connect on the big screen to see how it was yesterday and how it is today. Alright, let's see the high pressure pump today, how it looks like. $2,000 RPMs. $5,500 RPMs, 200 bar, 70 degrees. Let's continue. 202 bar, 5,900, 64.4, 65.5, 200 bar, 77.6. Alright, 200 bar, shifting, that's a shift by the way. Okay. $6,000 RPMs, 200 bar, 63 degrees. I was thinking it was have a fuel starvation, but it's from the tune, because on the higher RPMs it might be intaker temperature that's cutting it. At this point I was not feeling the car that was filling up the gear fast. It was not jerking or didn't have any problem. It does have a fuel starvation like yesterday. Let's go now to see the yesterday one, how it looks like. We never passed 70 degrees today, and we don't have a fuel pressure drop, 200 bar. And I shift one gear, then it's continue filling up the second gear. I felt that it was a little bit lazy there. This is related to the tune. Let's see the yesterday one. Okay, this is 24 hours ago. Actually, yesterday was 6 o'clock, today it was 5 o'clock. Alright, same road, same street. I start from 2000 RPMs, 123 bar, 35.6 degrees. Okay, climbing up. And then suddenly, at 3500 RPMs, it's asking, the quantity control valve is asking 100 degrees. That means he wants more fuel, because he cannot increase the fuel pressure on the high pressure pumps. And then direct, like how it's predicted from the ECU, that's why I was asking 100 degrees, you see a fuel pressure drop at 72 bar, at 4000 RPMs. If we continue more, you see that the ECU keep asking 100 degrees total actuation angle of quantity control valve. It's asking 100 degrees and you have a flat line. That means he wants more fuel, he has a fuel pressure drop, and I'm at 5000 RPMs and I'm not full throttle. On the previous one, the first one that I saw you, I was full throttle. Okay, continue, and then I release. I release for safety. Let's go to see the low pressure pump today. This one is the low pressure pump. Actually, this is supposed to be the amperes. Okay, I didn't saw that yesterday, I don't know why. Anyhow, we have battery voltage for our reference, 14.3 volts, fuel pressure 5 bar, 6.4 volts on the fuel pump. And you see that I was cruising around, alright? Now, when I click play, you can start raising up because that's the pull. Now, when I start playing this, let's see. Come on, I went so back. Okay, 7 volts, 5 bar, 8 volts, 5 bar, 9, 11, 11.3 volts, 5 bar, still keep, it's okay, 9.6 amperes probably. 12 volts, still 5 bar, 11.6 amperes. This is like you maximize the low pressure pump right here. 12.9 volts, still 5 bar, that's a good one. Does have fuel pressure drop. 13 amperes, 13 volts, still does have fuel pressure drop, but it's on the limit. Okay, and after that I release it. So you see that it went 13 amperes, 13 volts, and it was still keeping. When I remove my foot from the accelerator pedal, you see that the spike of the pressure. Okay, like I said, this is today, and we have maximized the low pressure pump. The high pressure pumps, they still have another 30 degrees, I think it was 70 degrees the maximum. Let's see yesterday the low pressure pump. This is yesterday, okay, battery 14 volts, 5.8 bar, the low pressure side, 8.7 amperes at 10.2 volts, and I'm click play to see how much is gonna be the maximum, 10.3, okay, and then I'm releasing, that's why it drops down the amperes and the voltage. So yesterday I saw something like 10 volts, 10, 11 volts at 8 amperes, let us say, steady 5 bar. Today you see 13 volts and 13 ampere. Why is this difference? Because I drilled the rail. I remove the restrictor from the fuel rail, the restriction that has the fuel rail, and I increase the diameter of the rail. This, you don't have to do it on a bone stock application. In a bone stock application, you don't have to modify anything. This is a tuned, has a down pipes, has a tune inside, and it doesn't have water methanol. Now, what can you do now? Again, it's not for bone stock application. Because I drill the rail, I give the extra fuel that you need the car. That's why now it's maximizing the low pressure pump. What can you do there? You can upgrade the low pressure pump, and you can put another pump based on boost, to activate based on boost, to supply more fuel the high pressure pumps. Because the high pressure pumps, they still have 30 degrees from the quantity control valve to play with. That means not being maximized. You can put a water methanol, let us say 2 jets of water methanol, 600 cc per jet, 1.2 liters, 70-30 methanol with the distilled water, and you're gonna be perfect, because it won't gonna run 70 degrees, the quantity control valve will gonna run something like 60 degrees, 55 degrees, so you're not gonna ask so much fuel from the low pressure pump. As soon as I drill the rail and I increase the diameter and I remove the restrictor that has there, it can pass much more fuel. That's why the low pressure pump, it's struggling to keep up. And there is the third option, you detune the car. You just remove a little bit of the ignition timing, you remove a little bit of the boost. You don't want to maximize either the high pressure pumps or the low pressure pump. In this case, you see that it was maximizing almost identical. What does mean that one? Okay, on the high pressure pumps, it was already maximized. It was asking 100 degrees. The low pressure pump, it was have still at least 3-4 amperes, and not 3-4 amperes, 2-3 amperes and 2-3 volts more, something like that. Nothing more, nothing less. Again, it's not for a stock application. All right, let's be clear with that. And you're supposed to don't do that with the stock fuel pumps, high pressure pumps. You're supposed to do that with the upgrade pumps. It's an old trick, it's not something new. Okay, here you have it, I put on the video. It's not cutting the car, but if you ask me, it's not the cleanest tune. Has a delay, it's not, yes, it does have a fuel starvation anymore. It's not starving for fuel, but it's not perfect clean. I don't know what they have done with the tune, I'm not a tuner. That's it from my side. The car is not cutting anymore, the customer, he can test drive the car. That's it. Now if you want something else, I don't know. If you want to fix the leak, let us say the coolant leak on the auxiliary pump for the heater core there, it's optional. Usually goes pump and pipe at the same time, the small one next to the coolant expansion tank. That's it. That's it. Instead of drilling, let us say, the rail, I can put two methanol jets and spray, put it temporary, let us say, and you're gonna see the same things. Well, it's gonna be a bit better actually. Or I can say to the tuner, you know what, put it back to stock, and it's gonna be fine. Turn off only the secondary oxygen sensors to don't trigger the check engine light, and it's gonna be fine because you're not gonna run on this amount of boost and ignition timing as it is right now. Again, it's not a stock application. Do not try to do none of this. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend.